10 seconds remaining.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Premier League presentation. We're going to be bringing you guys a game between Alliance and Fnatic. This is a best-of-3 series to conclude out our Premier League Season 5 Aghanim Scepter Cup. And yeah, we're going to see who's going to be taking that one away. 100 points up for grabs here for the first place, along with, of course, you get a little icon next to the Aghanim Cup. That is your little trophy there for this one here. We have it distributed amongst, what, 7 cups, and then the final one will, of course, be the playoffs, known as the Premier Cup. $15,000 on the line there. So, building up to it, Fnatic have a lot to gain here. They have not picked, prior to this cup, had not picked up a single point, and now could pick up a full 100, which could put them right back on par with some of the top teams there. Meanwhile, Alliance has put some points on the board, so they could increase that advantage even further. That could be really good for them. Either way, I'm really excited about this match as a whole. These two teams have fought long and hard to get to this position here, and they are well deserving of this grand final matchups. I'm excited to see what's going to come out. Maybe not a meatball, but certainly a lot of awesome play from two amazing Western teams. So thank you guys so much for tuning on into the Premier League. Once again, I am Blaze. Here's Triumph. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic definitely need. They could really use a win here. That said, worst case scenario, they come into second place. 50 points puts them into tied fourth, which is, in the runnings basically for that final, well, one of the top 4 spots for the playoffs. That said, I mean, if everything goes to plan, obviously they would rather have the 100 points, but I would kind of want to see a Meepo. That said, I think it's a little bit dangerous for them to run the Meepo so soon again. One of the big reasons is, I feel, if Alliance were watching, a big thing with Notel's play there and his playstyle was he was hiding the Meepos in very specific spots for ganks, and Alliance is the sort of team that will pick up on that very quickly. And one way if you wanted to really screw up Notel would be to go, all right, we've lost sight of his Meepos. We know he's got to be hiding them here, or here, and then bum rush them with a bunch of supports and kill them before he knows what's going on. So I think that's definitely dangerous if he tries to run at this game, and I don't think he will. And there we go. They're picking up the Gyrocopter, so probably going to see Aero farming that in the state lane. Bane being picked up as well. That's also going to help him out against the Lone Druid. That said, of course, Alliance might rotate again and decide to go for offensive trial versus the Gyrocopter, try and make it hard for him to farm. And, that said, Gyrocopter can handle himself. Does have the rocket barrage, hard to jump on there, and of course the flat cannon can harass very heavily against soft and squishy low armor support, so got to keep that in mind.
Yeah, so in this position here, of course, the Lifestealer and the Batrider are both banned out. Those are heroes that we've been seeing all day long, but having them taken off the board means that we're seeing a completely different draft. Of course, Alliance will go ahead and first pick the Lone Druid for Bulldog rather than going for the Lifestealer for Lotus, since they cannot. And now change up the drafting strategy. Generally speaking, they want to send Lone Druid in the safe lane solo. Like you said, putting on aggressive trial. And the problem with that is they only get 1 pick here, and then it's another banning phase. So they can pick up a hero to try to make their aggressive trial work, but if Fnatic sees that coming, they can ban all the synergies possible. You pick up a Keeper Light, they ban out the Shadow Demon Rubik. I mean, things like that can easily come to play, but one great flexible hero we saw used very effectively by EGM previously is this Treant Protector, which makes it so that no matter how the lanes play themselves out, you're going to have some very survivable heroes.
Honestly, I disagree with that a little bit. I mean, they could... The thing is, with an offensive try, I mean, it's very easy. They could just pick the core hero that they want to go on it. Say, just pick the aggressive hero they want to go on it. Say, if they want to do something like a Night Stalker try, just pick your Night Stalker, and then it's so many support heroes you can pick to go with it. Let's say Crystal Maiden tonight. You can throw in the Dirge, throw in the Lina, throw in a Shadow Demon. Just so many heroes you can toss. And as long as they got a slow or a stun, it works. I mean, you just want to put pressure on the lane and zone it. So as long as you've got threat value, you can do it. That said, rolling on though, Fnatic. They've banned at the Chen. I think it's probably a very wise choice. They're making sure that's not there for Aki to pick up. But of course, he does play plenty of other heroes. Might even see him run the Visage, also a possibility. Puck being banned out, so we won't be seeing any No-Tail Puck. Although that said, Hanny. Might have been a Hanny Puck. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. But they're also banning the Enchantress, so there we go. Fnatic is well aware of the kind of carnage that Aki can cause if you leave him alone with those jungle creeps, just allowing him to pop out whenever he wants. And this is the kind of thing, I mean, if they are going for an offensive tri-lane, or if they are going for an offensive, trial themselves, I mean, they could go Bane plus a couple of the heroes, take an offensive trial, and then throw Gyrocopter to the safe lane solo farm. That's also a possibility if they're expecting, Lone Druid to take the, or if they're expecting Lone Druid to take that lane. I think Gyrocopter can handle that himself, especially if they just rotate a support down there every now and then to help him out. But it's really, the Treant's a bit of a curveball, because I'm honestly not dead sure where they're going to throw the Treant. Treant works both ways. Could be defensive, could be offensive. Alliance's hand right now, it's not tipped. It's really, really flexible, so it's hard to tell what they're going to do. Fnatic as well. I mean, they could really go anywhere. I mean, we can see Jarek up to mid. It happens every now and then, so really difficult to tell. And they're just banning. I'm pretty much right now. They're just banning out heroes that think are tough. Like they don't really want to end up facing against.
Yeah, yeah, the Vista is just a little bit frustrating. A lot of nuke coming through, the pure damage from the Brain Sap, and some early... It pretty much, if Gyrocopter closes the distance for Barrage due to Nightmare, they follow up with Brain Sap, immediately you're dealing with a max Soul Assumption. That can be very difficult. But I like this pickup from Fnatic. I was thinking about it just a moment before, and it's kind of based around what we saw Alliance do up against the Lone Druid that was running the safe lane. They saw Darkseer go up against him, and generally it's like, okay, wish-wash matchup. They're both going to have their pros and cons, but if you get a little more pressure, if you rotate a support, we saw Venomancer last time around, and go in for a first blood to start dominating, screw over his first bear summon, force him out to summon another one, and then kill him again. You get 2 kills on this Lone Druid, he's a non-factor for the first 10 minutes of the game. It's ridiculous how much you can shut him down. So Darkseer especially, with his Ion Shell creep skipping, can really outmaneuver things, and that's why I think that it's a really strong pickup here, because worst case scenario, it's 1 versus 3 up against a Treant Crystal Maiden combo, and best case scenario, it's 1 versus 1 against the Lone Druid, and you can outplay that with the right mindset. Of course, it is difficult. This is Bulldog we're talking about. Outplaying his Lone Druid is going to be a lot easier said than done, but it's still an option. Now, what I'm interested in is this is the second time we've seen Treant Protector Crystal Maiden. Saw that previously before with Kaipi, with Come With Me running the CM. Now we're going to see it with presumably EGM, though probably actually with this matchup, probably Ake.
Yeah, I think that I'm getting the feeling that Crystal Main's just here to help Treant protect a spam. And, I mean, it literally is more than doubling his mana regeneration in the early phase of the game. So it's going to help him spam the crap out of that Living Armor, just to make sure he can keep everybody up to health, make them really hard to gank. Enigma, though, the next pick for Fnatic. Okay, so we get another Enigma for Fnatic. And again, I think just the push potential here, and of course the Black Hole. And the question is, what support? Because, I mean, Alliance have already picked up the supports. They're unlikely to pick up the Eventual Spirit, which is really messing up the Black Hole potential. But we might, and I kind of doubt we'll see the Beastmaster get thrown in there. I mean, Beastmaster and Vengeful Spirit are probably the 2 most common heroes get picked up to screw with Enigma. But in this case, I don't think we're going to see an S4 mid with a Beastmaster. We've already got Lone Druid being run in the side lane, most likely with Admiral Bulldog. So I think for the moment, Enigma, if he wanted to, he could get offensive with the Blinks. And they don't really have a lot of great shutdown. Like Crystal Maiden, she's got the freeze, but it's like 500 units range is not fantastic. And she's not... Oh, well, there we go. Of course, Clockwork's the other one as well. We can get in with the hook shots. There we go. That's what they can use to stuff up the Enigma. That all said, I mean, Enigma, of course, fantastic for its push potential as well. So he's still going to find plenty of room to be useful here.
Yeah.
The question is if they're going for that thing you were talking about with the whole harassing Lone Druid early on, just trying to get those quick early kills on him. They're going to be dealing with the Treant Living Armor, which is going to slow things down a little bit. And on top of that, I don't really know if they've got the last pick available to help out the gank on that. I don't know about that.
It's probably just going to be a 1v1 lane. The end result, this is what Fnatic's been running quite a bit. Fly on the Enigma, Trixie will run the Darkseer, No-Tail will pick up the Bane and Arrow on the Gyrocopter, so all they need is Hani's hero. But as a whole, in this position here, Enigma is going to be, at best, the only way he could contribute to that top lane is if he actually gets Sentry Warded out of his own jungle. If they block off the spawns, he'll go, okay, well, I'll just pick up the Dyer's jungle and work my way there, and maybe he'll make an impact up against the Lone Druid, but like you said, it's probably just going to be a 1v1 with Lone Druid having living armor from Treant, making it a very difficult lane for Darkseid to do much more than just chill out, survive, and stay within 1,000 units of. But that Clockwork pickup, definitely a really good selection here. It's obviously going to be the MS4 mid. The only other alternative I could think that would really shut down all these channeled abilities would be a Silencer, but they want a little bit of frontline tank. They've already gotten the Treant, who's beefy, the Lone Druid, who gets an amazing amount of HP and armor from his ultimate, and then now you have this Clockwork, which has a good agi gain as well as being a strength here in the first place. So they have a lot of frontline people, and as long as they're careful about Ake's positioning with the Crystal Maiden, they're going to be able to just survive on through everything, which pretty much is the name of the game for Treant Protector.
I was thinking of Treant Protector. I can't remember whether or not you can use Living Armor on the Bear. If you use Living Armor on the Bear, that would really help out Lone Druid a lot in terms of keeping them alive and make sure they don't give away that huge cash bounty to the Fnatic supports, assuming they go and harass the Bear and try and pick it off. But I can't remember off the top of my head whether or not you can cast on the Bear if it's heroes and buildings only. Oh, you can? Okay.
Yeah, it's a hero unit, but it still applies, so no problem. Which,
fair enough then. Well...
I'm just trying to think about how they're going to round it out now. They obviously have to pick up a hero for Loda, and he has an amazing pool to deal with. Maybe see like an Alchemist picked up again and try to get that pressure rolling, or would Nightmare be too easy to defensively use against that?
I think it's definitely possible to pick up the Loader, the Alchemist, and also get some another really good long range stun they can throw at the Enigma if they need to shut down the black hole. So it's always possible. And that said, he could even just go for something old school to go for one of the more standard carries. But Alchemist, got a lot of good early pressure. That said, a lot of the Alchemists I've been seeing lately is less about sort of sitting in the safe lane and farming or even in the offense run. It's more about that solo mid. And they don't generally put Loader in there. You get the Alchemist and you put him in solo mid, he gets tons of experience, gets all the experience and can get the quick Shadow Blade, and it becomes such a ganking tour de force and just charges around the map, putting so much pressure on the enemy team. Like Enigma, he can't sit in the jungle anymore. He's always got to worry about getting jumped. And he gets jumped by an Alchemist, he's dead if he gets hit by that unstable concoction. So there's not really much you can do about it. I honestly feel like the whole sitting down Goblins breeding, I don't like it that much anymore, to be honest. I really like the way the Asians have been playing it, where they just get super aggressive with it. That's it. Final pick for Fnatic. The Viper once again. So we'll see what they've got in mind here. So I guess we'll see Trixie in the off lane trying to handle him. Depends where they're going to put the Lauren Druid, of course, whether it's going to be the safe lane or the short lane.
Yeah. Personally, I would, as far as Lotus pickup here, I think I would like to run them to run the Anti-Mage. It's really good for ulting on Enigma to cancel out him, even if he has BKB up. And along with that, you're dealing with 3 intellect heroes, a lot of mana flying around. Oh, and he's mobile enough that Viper, his slows will still limit him because he's melee, but he gets to outmaneuver with that blink, and that's what they pick up here. So, yeah, I really think that's the best way to do it. The one issue with it is, of course, they're trying to run a aggressive most likely going to try to run an aggressive tri-lane Anti-Mage, which generally isn't his preference, but I think Treant and Crystal Maiden provide enough structural foundation in the fact that they're 3 versus 2 to make this work.
Well, that and Anti-Mage, a lot of people really sort of discount the amount of damage Anti-Mage can do early on. He is actually quite brutal and can pick on the supports a lot. You have him jump in on top of the Bane, just can tear into pieces very quickly. The mana drain is quite a pain in the butt. As long as, you're going for that mana break build early on, rather. And one of the downsides of the mana break build is you have to be very confident in your supports backing up the stuns, but less so with the Treant Protector because, of course, you pick up the early Ring of Health and you got Treant's heal there as well. He's actually pretty hard to get rid of, so I think he should be okay, especially if he's got a couple levels in Blink as well. It's not sitting on the level 1.
Yeah.
But, back in the past we used to see Puck try and take the suicide lanes or even the Mirana. Anti-Mage was a hero who could absolutely screw them over, and not just screw them over, but completely slaughter them. And put them 5 deaths in under 15 minutes or so. So if he's going for that, but it looks like they're going for the defensive anyway. They might actually be leaving Loader alone. They've pulled him extra regen. No, they wouldn't be leaving him alone. They just pulled him extra regen though. He's opened up with a hatchet as well as the stout shield.
Then where's the bear going? That's really interesting, actually. Okay, so I guess I expect to be roaming more actively. Treant and Crystal Maiden going for high consumables right now, making their way up top, but I think they really want to just leave Loda to farm, give him an extra set of tangos, and then if they want him to 1v1 versus Enigma, they can go on, put some pressure on mid lane, which will help up against the Viper.
I think that's solo mid Bulldog.
Okay, this clears things up a bit. So that would mean S4 is up there as well. Yeah, this is getting pretty convoluted pretty quickly.
EGM is going to try and hide there with Nature's Guys a little bit and just sit there and leech experience.
Wow.
This actually works out okay. With Crystal Maiden's Aura, he can use Nature's Guise a lot more frequently. It's 90 mana. It's kind of expensive for him, but if he can jump out every now and then and just make sure, when the creep wave pushes up, it just allows him to immobilize. And so, say the creep wave pushes up to here, he can just Nature's Guise and then sneak up to there, and then just continue leeching experience.
Yeah, and it looks like they're actually going to use the bear possibly to try to do some shenanigans, pulling out the creep wave a little bit actively. Or no, he needs it on the mid, honestly, so that's not going to work out. But Quelling Blade currently on Lone Druid, in any case, he's probably going jungle. So one thing we were talking about is how predictable a draft becomes when Alliance Strip picks it up, and after all 5 are assembled. It can be a little wonky until that 5th pick, but once there's all 5, you can generally predict exactly where they're going to be. This is throwing a wrench in the works. This is something you wouldn't expect. So right now, you have a dual lane of Loda and Ake up top, farming against Trixie. He's perfectly fine against that. He can deal with the Darkseer, and Crystal Maiden makes it so that the Darkseer can't creep skip past him. On top of that, Bulldog gonna farm a very, very fast Midas into Radiance, despite not having a secure safe lane to do it in. And along with that, S4 is comfortable on mid, and as long as EGM survives down on bottom, he's gonna get the experience because Arrow's gonna keep it right around this area here. So, works out extremely well for their entire lineup, at least until Fnatic figure out what's going on with EGM.
I want to point out this is a very, very dangerous lane for Trixie. If Aki starts skilling up Frostbite instead of the... Yeah, I mean, this is going to lock him down. And not just that, like, he'll probably get away the first couple of times, but once he's pinned down for a few seconds and Mana Break starts to work on him, he's going to find himself without an escape mechanism very, very quickly. So I'm actually quite worried for him there. And there's a good potential he gets picked off. That said, mid lane is probably going to go in Hanny's favor very strongly. I mean, the 1v1 here, not good against Viper at all.
Yeah, that's pretty much guarantees it. I mean, S4, he's going to take this Corrosive Armor, he's going to get slowed down extensively. His bottle will help, and he's going to max out Rocket Flare to last hit at range, but he's not going to win this lane by any means. But as long as he makes sure that Hani isn't dominating, and they get good ward coverage to deal with his early ultimate usage, I think he'll be okay. Right now, Trixie's going to go in and snipe up one neutral. No, actually going to be seeing them both. One die to the creeps, one die to Aka himself. So Loda and Aka are going to do some damage to Trixie here, and trying a lot, but it's just not really going to change the pace of things. And this Dire Ward's still going to scout it out so that Trixie can't actually get near the creep wave. Still hitting level 3, though. That's not too shabby for an offlane hero.
I mean, yeah, obviously it was also watch views, but the other big benefit there, watching those TP ganks in case a rotation comes through. And we'll probably see him replace that fairly soon, as soon as the 6-minute mark rolls around as well, because he's really got to worry about the 6-minute mark. It's roughly when Hanny is probably going to hit his level 6 and come up there and try and cause some trouble. Crystal Maiden, though, just harassing non-stop there. Just going to go and trade hits, and then we got Anti-Mage. She's no fear at all. Going to throw down the Frostbite there, although Anti-Mage backs off the last moment. Of course, he does need to worry about the Iron Shield. It does do a fair amount of damage as well.
Once he has Tranquil Boots, he can just continuously do that over and over, and Darkseer probably won't have his Soul Ring by that point in time. And if that's the case, then Aka and Loda just have this under wraps entirely. And meanwhile, like we were talking about, Bulldog completely secure. Going for Midas Rush, Gloves of Haste already up and at him, and yeah, he's only going to be 1,300 more gold, and then he's going to have his own way to rubber band back into a carry position.
I should also mention Tree is doing okay. Well, Tree's leeching just experience in the bottom lane, and he's just using the Nature's Guys to get mobile and change positions when he wants to hide and just leech experience down there. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, in fact, no, actually, he's not just doing that, of course, using that mana spam as well to help S4 in the mid. That's definitely going to be very crucial there, just to make sure he can actually stay in that lane, because Viper has been completely manhandling him down there in terms of harass. But he has been able to last hit okay, just mostly thanks to the rocket. In fact, he's had to actually scalp the rocket flare to help that out as well.
Yeah, so not much 1v1 potential for S4, but you actually don't want to go for a 1v1 attempt on Viper. The way that Nether Toxin stacks up, it's really, really hard. If you're both full HP, that Viper guaranteed kills you, and you just can't man up on him. Actually, speaking of manning up, we're going to see EGM taking a lot of hits here, and they're able to bring it off. They're blocking him out. Oh my goodness! What a nice move there. They were able to bring him down, get the kill, just based on the fact that they had the Sentry Ward and No Tail's positioning. That was just clutch. Unfortunately for Train Protector, he cares a little bit too much about the trees, didn't have any tangos. And as a result, when No Tail got in this position here, hold position, win the game. There's EGM locked in place, and plenty of opportunities for right clicks to come out from Gyrocopter to seal the deal there. Ring spawn up top, Invis will go to Hani. No bottle, unfortunately, for him, but still going to be active enough.
You see him just get harassed there by the cogs as well. S4 so getting healed up. Meanwhile, top lane, how is Trixie faring up there? Trixie only sitting on 10 CS, which is fairly low. But I mean, fair enough, he's been getting harassed pretty hard. Going to pick up double wave here as well. Meanwhile, bottom lane, EGM's come back there as well. Going to get nightmared underneath the tower. Era's now moving. They're actually going to dive. Era's going to tank the damage now. He's going to try Nature's Diamond's not going to help, though. That's a second kill there, Trian. Not being able to handle that at all.
I'm not sure why he didn't put out the block first. The Living Armor, he put that out second after a good 2 seconds of Rocket Barrage damage. And, I mean, obviously it would tick down quickly, but it would still help as far as the damage he was receiving. But he knew there was another Sentry Ward available for No Tail, and I guess he just didn't expect it to come down that way. Either way, EGM showing why he's generally playing the support in this situation is just he's not dealing too well with this pressure, and it's not entirely to his fault. Era and No Tail doing a remarkable job, but unfortunately the tree's not going to get too much on this bottom lane.
He is definitely going to be struggling quite a lot down there. Espero, though, on the other hand, managing to stay toe-to-toe at the moment with the Viper working out. And I think the other thing, the reason Tree's going to have a lot of trouble, he's spending a lot, like he's throwing himself under the bus, he's giving a lot of the healing abilities, he's handing him out to the mid lane constantly, just trying to make sure. I mean, Trent's always expecting to lose this lane, he's just trying to leech experience just to get those levels in here. And I think, is he even doing most of the warding at the moment? I suppose he's died twice. But now it looks like Trixie, they're getting aggressive on him once. They can just harass him a bit more. Aki going to tank some tower hits there. Also, Creep Iron Shell going to do a lot of damage to him as well. Crystal Man also has some counter wards up and running. She will pick up her boots now. No, not going for boots. Actually, no, Cells, change their mind, does pick up boots. Went for a magic wand for a second, then changed it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get too much out of Magic Stick. I mean, in the game as a whole, sure, but this stage of the game, you're just up against some Darkseer. So good, making sure that she can actually close the distance, because Crystal Maiden is so darn slow. I was talking about the movement speed of Jakiro and of Bane. No, not Bane. Shadow Demon Jakiro. But Crystal Maiden just completely outclasses them. She has 280 base movement speed. It's just atrociously bad. So in that position, she needs mobility to actually get Frostbites off before, or at least simultaneously with the Surge coming on out. So that's going to be what allows them to actually get kills, especially now that Loda's about to hit level 6. So that actually, Trixie knowing that, very wisely falling back, and most likely will be going towards the jungle instead, because if he goes back up in the top lane, he's just going to get ulti shortly. But well, he's going to go head up there, and we'll have to see if we do actually get Loda locking him down. But doesn't have Tranquil Boots, so he'll take some Ion Shell harassment and kind of fall back a little bit. But meanwhile in the mid lane, we do actually miss out on a pick-off here. Clockwork, very aggressive positioning, uses hook shot, got right on top of Hani, but you don't duel with Hani, and so the Fiend's Grip turning around nicely. It's just great positioning from Bane. And so, yeah, Bane was already there. He didn't even have to TP to respond. They knew how S4 would play, and that allowed them to get a very important solo kill.
Bane is a very, very high level at the moment for being like a support hero. He's level 6 at before the 7-minute mark. That is like, normally speaking, level 6 is at 6 minutes is a solo mid, doing decently well.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's level 6, I mean, if I were Clock, I wouldn't expect him to be level 6 at this point in time. Be like, what the hell? Why does he have his ult up right now?
Yeah. It is very, very impressive, honestly. It's No-Tail not missing a single stack, missing a single pull. He just keeps on going at it, and he gets solo experience for it because the other support is jungling on the western half. Enigma's only taken the western 3 camps, so it allows No-Tail to just farm away. Very, very efficient in his experience.
Compared to Crystal Maiden.
Acquisition. Ooh.
She's like level 4. Like that's the huge difference in terms of what he's been doing. He's spending less time around, and like they've still picked up kills too. That's the other thing, of course. He's picked up 2 kills up there as well.
So. Yep, providing a decent bit of experience there. Actually, we're going to see Trixie drop down here. Just need one more blink to go on in, and Loda should be able to clean this up here. So Trixie blocks one right-click, but here's going to be the finisher. Loda chopping away and finishing the job. So he gets a kill for himself. That'll definitely help out Crystal Maiden comparatively. She's now moving in towards level 6 herself, but it just already happened so quickly for the Bane. He got the assist kill down here on the Treant, the diving kill on the Treant, and then of course he's just been active on the pulls, now active on the pushing, to the point that this Bane is going to have a great game. If No-Tail can pick up an early Blink Dagger, it completely changes their initiation structure. It's actually going to be extremely good for them.
Just looking at Era now, he's picked up. Era's actually gone for the Helm of the Dominator first. This is interesting, not that too usual. Normally speaking, we usually see the BKB rush. Of course, BKB getting early rushing of BKB has been getting nerfed a little bit, though, obviously, with the lower charges on it. So Era adapting his build a little bit there. That said, I'm just wondering how this late game's going, because we've got this scenario where we've got sort of the 2 different types of hard carries. Where the anti-mage is sort of the I pick a guy and I destroy him, and then you've got the carry style of the Gyrocopter, which is sort of I do a fair bit of damage, but I also accidentally kill all the supports on your team, and now we have a huge numbers advantage.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll just activate Flat Cannon and accidentally kill Crystal Maiden. Probably not the Tree, actually, because Tree's kind of naturally tanky, although he doesn't have much armor is a bit of an issue. Yeah. But Crystal Maiden, like, she's going to come near the fight and just die, because Arrow just happened to be there.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a single target focus for the anti-mage where incidental AoE damage coming in from Era. He has the perfect team synergy to set that up, the vacuum, the black hole. It's going to be very, very scary when Era actually gets some big farm, because that Flat Cannon, 6 attacks are going to be hitting on just about every support. But I don't think that Alliance wants to force it in the same way. They don't want to just say, hey, this guy in this team fight is what we want to single out. They want to actually avoid the 5v5s altogether. They don't have a great team fight designed around that. They have to pick off potential with Clockwork, and they have great split push potential with the Lone Druid and the Battle Fury Anti-Mage. So they're going to be focusing on just putting pressure on towers, staying mobile, staying active, and getting a farm advantage that way. And the only thing they really have to directly contest is the Ancient stacks that'll be coming out from the Gyrocopter on the Radiant side.
That's a good point indeed. It looks like Bulldog, though, has decided to go and pick up an early Roshan there, and in fact smoked his way in there as well, so he's going to be cleaning that up fairly easily. In fact, he's got at the moment just the Midas on the Bear. In fact, has put the Tranquils on the Bear as well, I think. Yep, Tranquils on the Bear as well. S4 has been spotted going for the top lane, has picked up an early Brace. They're probably going to go and pick up the drums fairly soon as well. But for the most part, it looks like free Roshan down the bottom. Nobody's rotated to check on it at all. So, yeah. Free Roche. Anti-Mage, though, has picked up another 1,200 gold, probably going to go work towards that Battle Fury. At the moment, he's probably looking towards 15 to 18 minute Battle Fury, I think, at the moment, whereas Fnatic are more interested in taking this Tier 1 mid-tower.
Yeah, and they're going to accomplish that very, very swiftly. Hopefully they don't just happen on down to the Roche Just right now, as far as kind of keeping him as a distraction, and they might actually, no, they cannot counter-initiate this. They have to let the tower fall, especially with that fortification. But what Bulldog's going to do here is resummon his bear. He actually just did that, so he is pretty much sacrificing a set of one full bear and about half the HP of another one, but it will get them Roshan, which they wouldn't normally have. So in this position with the Midas and with the Roche kill, Lone Druid just jumps into a position where you can compare it to as if he was in the off lane in the first place. So really, really good farm for him, considering the state of the game. We do see Cogs come out. S4 is going to try to survive here, but the back you pull back. Oh, hookshot not going to be good enough, unfortunately. Fly trying to pursue. Malphite not available, but here comes that freezing field. Nice placement. Might force a black hole. No, just getting bursted hard. Using the mechanism, using the brain sap. They're able to finish her off quickly, but there's a surprise waiting for them. Admiral Bulldog picking up that Aegis. They could not have possibly fathomed that was what he was doing, but either way, they take 2 towers traded out, and some would debate that actually the towers are the better trade as far as gold. So definitely as far as gold, but as far as team control.
I honestly feel Fnatic came out ahead there. 2 hero kills plus 2 towers. I think it's a pretty big boost and a huge boost to their supports as well. The Roshan kill's nice, but Bear is still going to take a little while to get. I think they have plenty of potential to gank him out right at the moment. And of course, they can always nightmare the Bear in the middle of a fight if necessary as well. And brain sap it as well. So that said, I am a little bit worried that they haven't really put a lot of pressure on Bulldog. Yeah, here it comes. There we go.
Yeah, they don't have a homing missile, unfortunately. So if an entangle comes out on Era, he might be able to get out with the second life, but more likely it's just him completely dead. Twice over now. Supports are coming on in. They have hookshot in 7 seconds. Nigma has that black hole available. Just starting off with the Malefice, and Bulldog in his standard druid form cannot be helped. They have to fall back. And so, yeah, that immediately throws away the Aegis, and adding all that up together, 2 tower kills, 2 hero kills, and then Bulldog on top of that and losing the Aegis. Yeah, that Roche, unfortunately for them, was not worth it.
And Era now going to pick up the Yasha, so it looks like he might be doing an early Manta style as well. Once again, now EGM trying to get away. He's got Nature's Guys up though, he should be just fine to get away. I don't think they've got any counter detection. Oh yes, they do actually. They're thrown in a ward, however, EGM's going to outpace it. He will get away there.
Haste.
I'm just looking at anti-mage. The biggest issue, of course, I mean, if Lone Druid gets fat enough, I don't think Viper's got the same carry potential between the Lone Druid. Obviously, he's got 12 slots worth of items, and if Anti-Mage gets fat, of course, Anti-Mage is complete terror in the late game as well. So, I mean, if Alliance can hold on, I think they're going to be looking okay towards the late game. Unless, that said, of course, they don't have the best abilities. A hook shot's nice, but it can be difficult to get the angle. And, of course, if he hook shots in, then you get the counter black hole, counter blink black hole in there. We've seen, I have in the past seen exactly how devastating an Enigma can be if he's got the double black holes. If he picks up a refresher, it can be really, I mean, ridiculously powerful against even the fattest of anti-mages. Just that amount of lockdown is just ridiculous against him. So, I mean, if this goes super late, I think Fnatic are definitely in it, but I would peg it towards Alliance to have the upper hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they just have so much going for them right now, and yeah, I mean, Hani's not going to be able to out-carry, but that's not going to be his objective. He's picking up a similar build that we saw before, Hood into Pipe, and then go for Aghanims. He just wants to be disabling and surviving. His damage comes from his passive Nether Toxin, so all he has to do is stay active, stay fighting, and he'll be in a pretty good position. Either way, taking another Tier 1. The interesting thing is they can do this without any wards at all. You look at the map, and it's actually completely scarce of Radiant Observer wards, but they're fine with that, because as long as they're together, they know no matter what position Alliance approaches from, they're still going to be completely screwed over, because Fnatic just have such a great way to deal with all this initiation, with the mechanism, and with all of their amazing teamfight utility.
Yeah, unfortunately, Anti-Mage is sort of the weak gazelle at this point in time. Isn't really helpful in these teamfight scenarios. I think the other thing, like you said, mentioned was, I think it's the other big reason that Bulldog get away with doing the Roshan, because if the team was offensively warding his jungle, had some vision of the jungle, and they didn't see him in there for the period of time he was missing, they figure, okay, he must be up to something. Come again?
No, sorry, I was just noting the fact that Viper went up for the Vanguard, interestingly enough, instead of the Hood, so gonna block some damage, but I don't know, a lot of people hate the Vanguard. I think it's fine for the Vitality Booster, and the other kind of stuff is just icing on the cake. But we are going to see Phoenix Rip up top, and that should be killing Anti-Mage. Only, no, actually, he's tanking up hard due to the Treant. He gets the blink off, but still, too much damage over time, just barely. And Era coming around, flanking up the side, knowing exactly where he'd blink. Good maneuver there, and yeah, secured that kill easily. So, Viper gets the last hit on that. Anti-Mage down for 30 seconds for a very easy Tier 2 tower push. I mean, they have fly.
I know why he's gone for the Vanguard. Yeah. You look at that lineup, there is practically no magic damage on that team. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much Rocket Flare and Crystal Maiden. I mean, she's got an ult, a devastating ult, but it's so hard to get off a good ult. Is that difficult? It's so easy to stun out Black Hole, Vacuum, Fiend's Grip, Nightmare, so many options there to stop that. So it's really pretty much a non-factor.
Yeah.
So I think the Vanguard in this case. And the other choice if you're doing an AUI build is you get the mech instead of the Vanguard and help your team out, but they've already got one, so you just go straight Vanguard.
Yep, and he's actually going to get some damage out as well. Going for the Manta style on top of that, they're going to be able to do a lot with another Toxin and those Recklets as a whole. And yeah, it is smarter. Again, the freezing, like you mentioned, the freezing field isn't that big of a deal if you know how to deal with it, and they certainly do. And for some reason, I was actually like thinking in my head that Treant's ultimate still did damage, which of course it does not. So yeah, in general, the only magic damage you really have to worry about is Mana Void, and you know, Pipe. It's not really going to be the thing that you pick up just to counter that. So instead they get some nice siege going on through. They put out a lot of damage on this tier 3, and it's going to take a heck of a lot of cooldowns from that living armor to bring it back up. And Fnatic's not done yet. They are actually going to try to topple it right here and now. And I think they can pretty much accomplish that.
The other thing on Pipe is Trixie's building it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So he can build it up very gradually, but has it already. Oh, S4 coming on in. He's going to go for the cogs right on top of Era. Great opportunity to burn him down during that frostbite. Era's already dead. Already dropped the call down, and it's going to be load on the back end that gets Fiend's Grip and picked off. Where is the Lone Druid coming back on in, ready to swing, but they don't have fortification, and the tower is dropping here, so they're not confident at all. Enfeebled up, slowed down. This bear can't do anything right here. They're even going to get the Nightmare on the Druid himself. So S4 dropping down to a couple more right clicks. One more from Honey will finish the job. Not even trying to finish off Bulldog, but they won't manage that. It will secure them these racks here. And honestly, Alliance looking in a very rough position. Buyback from the Clockwork Goblin. Not exactly what he wanted to expend, but he has to come on in and do something about this. Again, they still have the Black Hole. They still have Mechanism. This is going to be a rough fight to take.
Want to see that Black Hole in a second. Here we go. Fly coming, gets pushed back though. There's the vacuum. Can we see the Black Hole? Unfortunately, the cogs keeping him out of it. A nice attempt to set up a Trixie, but they should be able to pick off this Raxville. As the bear goes down as well. It's another 300 gold. Druid does have another one spare, but it doesn't matter though. He's going to have to summon it right back up, but they've already lost the Rax. And Fnatic putting himself in a great position in game 1 at the moment. Looking at Loda. Loda's been picked off so many times. He's delayed his Battle Fury so hard. He's been looking at 20 minutes plus at this point in time. He's been picked off how many times? Like 3 times in like the last 4 minutes? No, twice in the last 4 minutes. He's really been struggling from there.
Yeah, I mean...
And it's coming down that Fiend's Grip.
Yeah, it's just... It really is about that Fiend's Grip, and honestly, even when he gets a Battle Fury, what's he going to do with it? Like, he's going to farm Mega Creeps. That's it. He's going to push out of his base a little bit here and there, but he's not going to be able to hit anything on tower. This top tier 1 is as good as fortified permanently. Like, they cannot get to that unless they take a huge team fight. Just because of the pressure coming in now that they've lost the Rax, and the fact that they're just kind of cooped up in their base here. So Little will do what he can, but they put the fear in him. He's going to get Fiend's Grip if he goes out too far. And he's mobile, he has max blink, he has his Battle Fury, but it's going to take a heck of a lot of stacks to bring him up to where he needs to be.
Yeah, like he really needs to use that neutral, and like Crystal Maiden knows that he needs those neutrals. And the smart thing, like both teams playing smart there. The Fnatic, they know that they need to take control of the jungle now. Threw a ward up over here, and then immediately Crystal Maiden knows, well, they're going to have a ward there. I need to go and counter ward that so Anti-Mage can actually use the jungle. Although that said, he's actually farming the Mega Creeps instead for the moment, or just actually not dead sure what he's up to.
Hiding. Trying to survive is pretty much it. If you don't see Fnatic on the map, you have to assume that Bane's right lurking behind the tree line because he has a Blink Dagger now. No Tail has farmed well enough to have Arcane Blink earn at only 19 minutes into the game. He's just been so aggressive. He's gotten 1 kill, 6 assists, and even a few good neutral kills, 25 in total.
And yeah, in this case, definitely the Blink Dagger far more valuable than going for the fast BKB. The No Tail, just because they have 3 stuns that can knock him out of it, even if he's BKB'd up. But now the port's coming back. Anti-Mage actually going to... No, he already has a TP. I actually have... No, what is Loda doing now?
Oh, he's trying to farm.
Okay.
He's trying to push it.
He's trying to... Wow, he's trying to farm that deep. I mean, there's already a creep wave going to push into the base at the moment anyway. But he is going to have to TP back. I mean, Fnatic are about to push up the ramp here and take a shot at the mid-racks as well, Blaze.
Yeah. And it's just, he only has a little bit of time. He's trying to make the most of every second, but he knows he's going to be having to be back in the base in just a moment's time. They have the Overgrowth available. This is probably the first team fight they legitimately use it, but we do see already a pickoff on the Spirit Bear. The resummon is available, but still got to have to watch that HP value. Right now, Nova, rank 1 coming on through, not accomplishing too much. Same thing with Living Armor trying to keep it up. The one thing they've going for them is the pipe has expired, but they're just going to push up high ground with the Radiance and burn down the creep waves that much faster. It's just, everything is looking extremely bleak. So, Alliance, this is their last stand. They have to make something happen here, and it's going to be difficult. Actually, there's their Radiance, sorry. But anyways, going across, there's going to be the Overgrowth Enigma, looking for his Black Hole, at least the Mechanism, but here comes S4 coming on in, trying to get the cogs across. BK beat Era, doing some damage here. It's going to be Clockwork to fall first. Nice vacuum into the wall. Admiral Bulldog slowed and will fall here. So he's going to get dropped down. No buyback available. And it's just going to be the Treant to try to come back on in. But Loda is almost going to get fly, but no, he survives with 30 HP. He does end up falling to Crystal Maiden in the end, but not before Black holding out that anti-pitch and sealing his fate. Good game, well played comes on through, and that wraps up Game 1 of this best-of-3 series.
There's an 18-minute racks. What can you do against that? And this is pretty much. I feel like this is kind of like what EG wanted to do. Just have that group up, 5-man push, take the team fights, and they just never really managed to do that. Whereas Fnatic, on the other hand, managed to pull it off. Didn't have that huge setup of we need these ultimates. Just sort of, you know what? Just get the odd early items. Just get the mech. You know, get the safe mech, the easy mech. If you jungle with Enigma and don't get a lot of pressure on the jungle, mech's really, really easy to get, and that's pretty much all they needed. Just have got that firepower and then just grouped up and charged.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you just look at the levels straight up, I mean, you have a level 8 CM and a level 9 Treant going up against a level 12 Bane and a level 11 Enigma. So it's just they have the skills that they need to jump in and make these fights happen. And Trixie doing so well in the off lane, despite going up against a pretty rough composition, it just made it so that when it came down to it, Alliance's greed got the best of them. They had potential to late game carry it if they got some space to farm, but by Loda not doing perfectly in his lane, by being picked off a couple times when No-Tail rotated, and then from there the relentless push pressure that started raxing them 19 minutes in, that's what really just completely negated any potential for Alliance to take this game away. So they end up with only 340 GPM on Loda and 395 on Admiral Bulldog, courtesy of a Midas. But in this position, no core items acquired. They unfortunately will not take this one away. However, it is a best-of-3 series, as it is the Grand Finals, and we will be seeing them come back into it with hopefully new strategies in mind coming into Game 2 of this best-of-3 series. Before we go on into that, do you have any thoughts, Triumph?
Yeah, I think the Suicide Solo tree, questionable.
Certainly didn't pay off here. If they didn't expect it, and he was just hiding in the trees the whole time, would have been great. But in this case, yeah, Fnatic just 2 on the ball for it. Alright, so that's going to be it for us on this one here. Going on into the next game, Game 2 of Alliance vs. Fnatic. In just a minute, guys. Thanks for tuning in.